today to answer one question. Is the Australian reboot of the beloved sitcom The Office really as bad as people are making it out to be? Let's chat. Okay, so if you've been on the internet at all for the past few weeks, you've probably noticed that people are not excited for the Australian reboot of The Office. I mean, just take a look at the comments underneath the trailer. They are absolutely cooking it in there. And I mean, wow, they just are not holding back. And now that The Office has finally been released, is it going to be as bad as people are saying? I'm not a fan of slamming something because it is the popular thing to do, nor am I a fan of blazing a movie or a TV show because it's the status quo. I'm just here to provide an honest, unbiased, balanced opinion, and that means I try to look for the good as well as the bad. That being said, this is just one guy's opinion, and I'm actually really keen to hear yours in the comments below. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a no hype, no bullshit, spoiler-free review of the Australian Office Season 1. Let's get into it. So episode 1 starts with the premise of the whole season. Female Michael Scott, Hannah Howard. God, I'm gonna have to get used to that, aren't I? Hannah Howard, branch manager at a packaging company, learns the office will be shutting down and shifting to remote work. Determined to keeping the office culture alive, she enforces a mandatory in-person attendance to the dismay of most people in the office. To top it all off, the branch has to make $300,000 in a month in order to keep the office open. Okay, overall, the premise is okay. It's fine. It's a serviceable plot for a sitcom, although one thing that I do like about it is that it provides a clear inciting event that we could follow throughout the whole season, which actually a lot of sitcoms lack. So, there you go. They achieved the bare minimum of storytelling. What else is there to say? It's fine. There are some things that feel forced. I feel as the quote-unquote Jim and Pam love storyline is a little bit forced, but honestly, you don't really watch a sitcom for the plot. You watch it for the jokes. So here's the big question. Is the Australian Office funny? The Office's comedic style leans into that sort of cringe-worthy, awkward, offbeat kind of humor, and in some instances, I think this show really nails it, which I know is a hot take, because the general consensus is people think that this is painfully unfunny, but I do. I'm just gonna say, there actually are some good moments in the show. The Australian comedies cop a lot of flack because a lot of people don't find them funny. I think there's a bit more nuance to that, is what I'm trying to say. Australian comedies have a very specific style. It's very much an acquired taste. If you've seen the movie The Castle, that style of comedy is an acquired taste, and it's not for everybody. And credit where credit's due, there are some scenes in the show that made me laugh out loud because of how freaking uncomfortable and awkward it is. However, this show does have its fair share of misses when it comes to the jokes. I'm not going to deny that. There are some bits that just fall flat due to lackluster writing, and there are just some jokes that feel a little bit forced. I don't know. It's like, actually, one of my favorite YouTubers, Friendly Jordies, and fellow Australian, puts it really well. He says that it's kind of like,
what they are doing is a blackface of mainstream Australia. You are blackfacing white-collar Australia.
Which I tend to agree with. Now, there's one thing that I do have a pet peeve of, and that is jokes feeling like they ham-fisted a bit of an agenda to it. Okay, hear me out, right?
Promoting women into positions of power. That's my mantra, really.
So there are some jokes in the show that kind of make fun of the woke police and the woke patrol, but it's really ironic because as the Australian film and TV industry, as the media, they are the tastemakers for all that is woke.
Oh, my back hurts from carrying all my sisters
in the country, so it's just kind of comes off as really, really ironic to me. So anyways, that's a whole other topic that I am woefully unprepared to talk about, but hey, just my opinion. Overall, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but I can assure you there are some nuggets of comedy gold in there. You just have to look.
What sexual identity is he? Doesn't feel relevant, does it?
Experience.
Sometimes you have to really look, but still, there are some good stuff. It's not all bad. Everyone's just like, oh, the Office is so bad. And that's because they're comparing it to the other offices, which I'll get into that later. I mean, it's like any sitcom. The first season, there's gonna be some good and some bad, so you just have to look for it. But ultimately, the people delivering the jokes are arguably just as important as the jokes themselves. So let's chat about that. Okay. Here's a real hot take. I actually like the direction of some of the characters. I think that they're fun and they have a lot of potential. And a lot of people are bagging out Felicity Ward's character, Hannah Howard, but honestly, she's fine. It's, she's sort of the pseudo Michael Scott figure, but she's not Michael Scott, and that's kind of the point, and I respect the choice there. She's not Michael Scott. She's never gonna play the role the same way that Steve Carell would. No, God! That's okay. Look, it's just a different version of the character is all I'm saying. In a lot of ways, I think the characters have been stitched up purely because it is a reboot of The Office. Hannah will always be considered a female Michael Scott. Lizzie is just a female Dwight. Lloyd is, I don't know who Lloyd might be. Creed, maybe? I don't know, but you get my point. And in that regard, they just kind of come off as inferior versions of their UK and British counterparts. Okay, look, real talk. This show should not have been made. We do not need another spin-off of The Office. In many ways, this show is constrained by that label. It's taking on the task of trying to appease a diehard fan base, and in their eyes, and mine to some extent, this show will never live up to the legacy of the American or British Office. You know what I think they should have done? I think they should have made this show separate from the Office IP. This show has the potential to actually be really funny and be, a good show, but because we're going to be forever comparing it to the UK and the US Office, it's just gonna be that. It's just gonna be a cheap, not as good imitation of the original two. There is so much potential to make a great workplace sitcom, but sadly this just reflects the current state of sitcom, where original series struggle to get made, let alone thrive. That being said, I'm very much happy to be proven wrong. Last I recall, the UK and US Office didn't do so good when they first released, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If it does get renewed for a second season. So as for the future of the Australian Office, only time will tell. So, does the Australian version of The Office deserve the hate? I don't think so. Only if you view The Office as a separate entity to the rest of the Office IP. I guarantee you'll have a lot more fun with the show if you just push away all your preconceived notions of the other two offices and just watch it for what it is. Look, in the end, it's just an okay sitcom. But because it is a Australian reboot of The Office, I kind of get it. I really do understand the hate. So what do you think? Does the Australian Office deserve the hate that it's getting, or is it being unfairly judged? Maybe it just needs some time to grow on us, like a cancerous tumor. Or like the US Office when it had its rocky start. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you giving it a chance, or is it a hard pass for you? Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to do the like and subscribe and comment thing, because that's gonna make me really happy, and I hope that makes you happy because you made me happy. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.